Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Maniac Monday finally. First and foremost, I hope each and every one of you had a fantastic weekend, and I hope you're having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, whenever it is you're watching this. I hope you're having a great time with some family and friends and with some loved ones doing whatever it is that makes you happy, because that's always what's most important in life is making yourself happy. And please, to make me happy, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that very, very much. Now, on to today's movie. Today's movie is a bit of a stinker, I would say. It definitely fits perfectly with the format of Terrible Tuesday. I try to keep the worst movie of the week or just really bad movies in general for Tuesday, and this one qualifies by a long shot. This will be the worst movie I've ever reviewed. This is one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my entire life. This is very, very bad. It's not the worst, but it's top 10 for sure. It's really, really bad. Like, it makes Manos Hands of Fate look good. That's how bad this is. It makes Dead and Breakfast look good. Doesn't make the Return of the Living Dead, Necropolis and Rave to the Grave look good, though. It does not help those. Those ones suck no matter what you do. This one's from 2005, and it's running about an hour and 23 minutes, rated R. Stars George Kiseleff, Shannon, Leade, Jacquelyn, Horrell, Georgina, Donovan, Naidra, Thomson, and Carsten Frank. Yeah, Carsten Frank of Cannibal fame. Which this is directed by Ulli Lommel, German director. Fun fact that most people didn't know, most people don't either talk about or don't know, is that Marion Dora of Cannibal fame and Angel's Melancholy, all of those beautiful films that he made, he worked as a second unit director on this, and he filmed all the stuff with Carsten Frank, I'm more than sure, and he filmed, there's some autopsy stuff going on in here that is filmed very differently than the Ulli Lommel stuff. I'm pretty sure he clearly did those two parts of the film. Those sequences are spread throughout. Like, you don't see Carsten Frank until much later in the film, and he plays a character named Boris, and I don't take him for a Boris. I take him for a Carsten Frank or a Hans, or he's a German guy. That's what I take him for, is German. Now, Ulli Lommel, he is a director that has a lot of stinkers under his belt, which I'm going to show you the movie right now, and that is Green River Killer. Yes, this is a lump of crap. It is brought to you by, what does it say? From the director of The Boogeyman. And not to be confused with The Boogeyman with Barry Pepper in it. This is The Boogeyman from the BBFC video Nasty from way back. I think it's 1980 or 81 when that one came out. That one's okay. That's probably his most entertaining film. His best film altogether, all in all, that I can think of, is probably Tenderness of the Wolves, which I reviewed that on Facebook months and months ago. So if you guys are on Facebook on my page and you're curious about what I thought about that one, go ahead and scroll back a couple of months and you'll find it on there. I want to say about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, maybe longer than that. I don't know. I can't remember. I lose track after. I think it's longer. It's probably been closer to 5 months ago now. I've been doing the YouTube videos for a little while, for a couple of months now, so I'm getting quite used to being on here and talking to you guys in this platform than just the Facebook platform. Now, what is this movie about? It's about the Green River Killer, who was Gary Ridgway, and he was in Washington, and he killed, 48 women? Allegedly killed 48 women. Some think he killed more than that. I happen to think, yes, he did kill more than that. The guy ran from 80, 80... 82 to 98. So he ran for a number of years. He ran for 16 years as a doing his debaucherous crimes, killing prostitutes. And that's why he got away for so long, I feel like, is because he targeted prostitutes. He targeted derelicts, people that nobody would necessarily miss. That kind of, I don't think he went homeless route, but he did go the prostitute route more often than not. And I guess through this movie, he strangled most of them, or strangles all of them. I don't know if he strangled them in real life. I never really looked too far into Gary Ridgway because he never really interests me. I've heard that he is quite the sissy, and that the fact that when he was arrested and to confess to his crimes, I heard he made a request that the only reason he would confess is if they did not do an autopsy on him, or at least autopsy his brain and study it for scientific reasons. That right there led me to believe that the guy is a big old sissy. Him and Dennis Rader were both caught right around the same time, and Dennis Rader is another one that he's a little punk sissy that used his power to scare and murder people. The one thing about Gary Ridgway that I've noticed, he's not a very tall man. He's not very big. He's only like 5'10". He's not tall. He's not a menacing. He's not like somebody that I feel would necessarily be able to overpower most people just because of his sheer size. And from what I can tell on all of his interviews, he's not built very, very big either. He doesn't look like he's a very fit person. He could be very muscular. I don't know. He did work in a loading dock or something like that. He had you got to have a regular 9 to 5. You can't make money as a serial killer. So it follows him around, and it goes through a number of victims. There's a whole thing with his son in here. If that is true, I seriously doubt it. There's a whole thing with he's bringing home his victims, and the son is not witnessing the crimes in per se, but he is witnessing these women being brought into the house and essentially being drug out of the house afterwards. And it's just ridiculous the way he would pose these bodies just to get around town. If he did that in real life, it would have made me giggle, but it worked. They would generally look like girls that were messed up, drunk on something, or drugs, or drugged out, or whatnot, and he'd have a little cigarette dangling out of their mouth, and it would just add a little extra to it. I don't know how that cigarette would stay in there the whole time he would carry them from the house to the truck in the movie. I'm pretty sure in real life he did not carry them that way, I'm pretty sure he didn't do that while carrying them. Now let's get on to some ratings of this horrible film. On a technical side, this thing is a freaking mess. There's stuff this is supposed to be set from 82 to 98, was it? 82 to 98 for 16 years, and there's things that are he often frequents this bar, and that's where he picks up most of his victims in the movie. A few of them, excuse me, not most of them, a few of them from there. And there's things in that bar that did not exist at that time. There is a House of the Dead 2 video game. There is a signs for Bud Select. There are Philadelphia Eagles logos, but they are the new logo from the 2000s. They're not the old logo of what they used to be. What else was there? There was a lady in the bar that her hair color, the way she had it, that was not a very popular style in the 80s. As a matter of fact, my grown-up job, I'm a barber, and we didn't really do hair coloring like that back then. We weren't doing foil highlights. We were doing highlights through a cap, you know. I mean, it was very different back in those days. They didn't start getting to the foils until like, I want to say, the late 90s, early 2000s. So, I mean, if it's set, which it's not, the parts with her are not set in the late 90s. They're set when he's much younger, because they do some not time lapse, but they show George Kiseleff, who plays Gary Ridgway. They show him as an old man at one point, wearing this little like hat and just being this defeated old man that you would never guess is the Green River Killer, or a serial killer in general. With all that, even with the stuff that Marion Dora did on this film, it doesn't help it by any means. His stuff is probably the best in the whole thing, the autopsy stuff. I saw something that Ulli Lommel claims it was done with pig parts and prosthetics, which it could very well be. It looked very realistic when they peeled the skull cap over and revealed the skull. It looked pretty darn realistic. So part of me wonders if Marion Dora was able to get in somewhere and film a autopsy happening. Wouldn't surprise me. The man's a sick man. But I love him. So we're going to give this a 0. We're going to give it a 1, actually. The only reason it gets a 1 is because of the work of Marion Dora and Carsten Frank. That's its only saving grace on that end. Now, as far as an entertaining side, this is so bad, it's bad. It's slow, it's drags. There's huge plot holes. It's boring from beginning to end, besides the few parts that Marion Dora did. Even the stuff that Carsten Frank did is a little weird as Boris. I'm getting, from the way it sounds like, the Boris character was all in Gary Ridgway's mind, which is, I just don't get it. Whatever. How true is that part of the aspect? Probably not at all. Alright, so that one's going to get a 0. This movie is the only movie that I have ever in my life will give a 1. This is a god-awful lump of crap, and I do not suggest it for anybody. If you want to go out and search this, buyer beware, because this is not good. I don't throw away movies, but if I did, this would be in the trash. Yeah, that's how bad I feel about this lump of crap. Let me set that down. It's burning my fingers. It's so bad. I'm kidding. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm up on that 13.5-minute mark. Tomorrow's movie is a pretty cool one I got lined up. Friday's already lined up. I can't wait to do Friday. It's one that I've seen several times, and I'm stoked for the new edition of this one coming out in the later year, which will be freaking dope. All right, guys. Love your faces as always. Peace.